fast Barry Sanders runs in his career make the Detroit Lions running back seem immortal. Now to Lions fans, he's absolutely the best running back to ever play the game. Maybe the best all around to ever do it. Here we're going to show you these 10 runs and show you the greatness of number 20, the humble one. Hello and welcome to Intermittent Sports, the channel that covers the Detroit Lions, Detroit Pistons, Detroit Tigers, and Michigan Wolverines. So if you're a fan of those Tigers, Pistons, Wolverines, or these Detroit Lions, let me know by subscribing right here and hitting that bell notification so you don't miss any of the Michigan sports action. And if you agree that Barry Sanders is a better running back than Emmitt Smith ever was, go ahead and hit that like button so you can let me know that I'm not alone. Here on this channel, we do videos like this. We preview the Michigan and Detroit games. We're going to have live podcasts on Friday nights, and we're going to commentate the games live whenever we have the opportunity, but all the football games. All right, enough about that. Let's go ahead and count down these runs, starting with number 10 and working to the very best, number 1. Let's go. At number 10, we've got this Barry Sanders run against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, you probably haven't seen this run often in Barry Sanders highlight reels, and it's sitting at number 10 for one reason and one reason only. Although it's a very miraculous run, he did not get into the end zone. Still, the elusiveness is unreal here. The ball snapped at the Cincinnati Bengals 36-yard line, and Barry has a lane that he is able to get through. He then immediately sees the linebacker creeping up and able to take an angle at him. So instead of bouncing the play out right away, he cuts in, spins masterfully as he did his entire Lions career, and then decides to cut it outside. Now he's out on the edge and he has some running room. He caves in, then crashes back out one last time to basically lure in the defender and then pan him out of the way. From here, it's off to the races until he's finally pushed in inside the 10-yard line. That's your number 10. Here's your number 9. Now, most people are going to have this run much higher on their list, as Barry Sanders' premeditated spin here is off the charts. I'm, however, putting it at number 9, as it was just 1 yard that he had to get, and he only really had to make one man miss. The safety comes crashing in off the edge, puts his head down while trying to make the tackle. You don't want to do that against Barry Sanders. Barry, of course, makes him pay for it. He spins as only he can do, one of the quickest executors of this move, and scores 6 for the Lions. That's your number 9. Check out your number 8. At number 8, I like this touchdown inside the red zone against the Green Bay Packers, a divisional foe. This is one of his most underrated runs. Like, seriously, I rarely see this run on any of his highlight film, and I don't understand why not. So in this one, he takes the handoff, goes to the hole and where it's designed to go, realizes there's nothing there, and then he bounces it out appropriately. He's running in this manner so convincingly that when he takes off inside, boom! One defender gone. His momentum is now inside, and that's what this next defender is clearly thinking, but Barry is so smooth, so sick with it, and he's got the legs of some kind of mix of a dinosaur and a horse on some other kind of galaxy, that he's able to go outside so swiftly. Did I use swift already? I can't remember, but he does it so wonderfully. Basically, what you just saw was 3 cuts in 1 second. That's impressive. Now, he doesn't juke the guy out this time. What does he do instead? He runs him over. I always told people, never underestimate the strength of Barry Sanders just because you're in awe of his creativity. Then after all this is said and done, he cuts it in 2 more times to the point where he's back to the middle of the field by the time he reaches pay dirt. He then admirably gives the ball to the ref, as he did his entire career as a Lion, because he doesn't need some silly move in the end zone for people to remember his name. That's number 8. Here's number 7. Here's one that I think potentially you guys would have higher on this list. His one and only infamous move on one of the best tackling safeties in the league, John Lynch. In this one, Barry makes an immediate cut as soon as he gets the handoff, and you can see from the start of the play, he knew where John was at the beginning. That's something else you have to know about Barry. He was all about the bait and switch. He'd bait you in and he'd switch you around. His peripheral vision was unmatched, and so too was his ability to read a defender. When he knew he had somebody on their heels, he took full advantage of it. On this particular play, John Lynch does absolutely everything right. He breaks his feet down, he squares up his body, he keeps his focus on the torso of his target, and yet he still loses his jock strap. Let me make this abundantly clear. There was not, is not, will never be someone who can so consistently do this kind of maneuver against opponents without it being a stroke of luck or against bad defenders, which John Lynch, of course, was not. In his career, John Lynch makes that tackle pretty much every single time. He would never look that silly. If you think otherwise, you'll have to show me the tape. I'm sure there's times where someone made John Lynch miss, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if there's any like this. I'd love to see it. And in this one, it's particularly sweet as he makes John pay. He gets 6 for the Lions again. As all of us Lions fans know, even though it looks like he's gimping or limping his way to the end zone, that was just his way. And when he did turn on those burners, you could consider him gone more often than not. It was as pure as Joe Dumars shooting a corner three. Notice here also the high step kick out that he was also known for. That's something I for sure took from him to turn good runs into excellent runs. That was number 7. Let's check out number 6. Number 6 is his run against the Chicago Bears. Wow, I'm going to get some absolute flack for this one. This run is amazing. Barry is amazing, but let's check out why I think it only lands at number 6. My reasoning is this play is more at the fault of the Chicago Bears defense than it was Barry Sanders' immaculateness. That's not a word, it is now. This maneuver here by Barry is something that we've seen Darren Sproles or Warwick Dunn do in the past, so it's not a 1 in a million kind of run like a lot of his are. He goes into a glob of a bunch of players, curls up, protects the ball, and keeps the legs churning like you're supposed to do. You gotta play until the whistle. Until that happens, you keep moving those legs. In this instance, Barry's strength and stamina helps him to break free from the Chicago Bears defenders. All because the Bears defense decided not to wrap up. It was a wonderful run. It should be in his highlight reel, but there's better out there. Here's 5 through 1. Number 5 is this touchdown run against the San Francisco 49ers. At first glance, you're going to think, I've seen him make more people miss than that. What's so impressive about this? Let me go into detail why. The biggest reason I'm going to give you is that this San Francisco 49ers team and defense was spectacular. This was the mid-90s when they were at their best. In fact, on this very game that you're seeing now, the 49ers moved their record to 12-4 after they beat Detroit, and they were just 2 years removed from winning the Super Bowl against the San Diego Chargers. What I love about this, and you can't hear it for copyright reasons, but Al Michaels literally just said right before this play happened that Barry Sanders is probably the hardest working Lion on the roster. So on this play, he takes the pitch, he remains patient, lets the play develop, and when the first man starts to approach, he does a really quick 3-point juke and gets that man trailing. From there, he bursts through the hole and gets to the end of the San Francisco 49ers defense. Again, here he does his quintessential spin move. He leaves one guy just kind of grasping for air. The other guy dusted off like a feather, and he's gone from there. Now, I want to talk about this next part as the play comes to an end. I've certainly talked about the things that Barry Sanders does well. This is definitely not the least of them. He really finishes the play. Watch as he drives his shoulder down, makes sure that he reaches the chalk that is the end zone, and gets 6 for his team. He finishes the run unlike any others. There's a lot of people who would have been stopped at the 1-yard line in that situation. But not our boy Barry. That was number 5. Here's number 4. At number 4, I was feeling it when Barry reversed the field against the Indianapolis Colts. On this play, Rodney Peete hands the ball off to Barry, and what's typical as always, he's immediately met by a crashing lineman. Whoop! No problem. Spins right off him. After the spin, you can see it in his eyes, the recognition. He sees that the entire defense came crashing in. So what does he do? Goes the opposite direction. Watch this guy right here. He clearly had no clue it was coming. And of course, you see the iconic touchdown pose of Rodney. He knew his boy was gone. He'd already seen it happen so many times. Number 20's in the clear. Ain't nobody catching him. That's number 4. What is number 3? Now, I know this is supposed to be the 10 best Barry runs, but I had to include, I just could not include this play, okay? As usual, Detroit's down 14 points in this one, only 33 seconds in the game, and we've seen that a lot. But also, as usual, the heart of Motown and the heart of Barry Sanders does not stop playing for nobody. Scott Mitchell's back there panicking, he's freaking out, he's got no one to get the ball to, and then he sees Barry Sanders and he goes, this is a guy that can make something out of nothing. And as soon as he catches the ball, Barry pulls the oop-de-oop on a very solid tackler in Derek Brooks, and then basically gets sued for collateral damage after all the defenders after that come in and get out of the play. So then from there, he's striding across the sideline so gracefully, so eloquently, and then one of my favorite parts, he cuts in. He cuts in. That is what you're supposed to do in this situation. I'm so sick of watching people basically get tackled out of bounds as though a good play couldn't have been a better play. This had touchdown written all over it. You gotta score in this situation. Kids, please take note. So he tells this guy, nah, dog, get off me. And here comes Derek Brooks coming back into the play. He was embarrassed, tried to redeem himself, didn't happen. Touchdown, party of 1, Mr. Sanders. That's number 3. Let's get into the top 2. Are y'all excited? I'm excited. Let's see number 2. Now, come on. You knew it was going to end with either the Patriots play or the Cowboys play. So which one do I think was better? Which one do I think deserves to be number 1 on the Barry Sanders highlight reel? Well, My personal feeling is that this one, the Patriots play, deserves less merit. Deserves a lot of merit, but less merit. On the NFL's YouTube channel, they do it the other way around. They got the Cowboys play at number 2, the Patriots play at number 1. What do you think? Do you agree with the NFL or do you agree with me? Let me know. I'd love to hear it. But all right, let's get into that Patriots play. On this one, you can see Barry immediately finds the hole, goes right through it. He then immediately notices the cornerback getting blocked, coming in for the tackle. Nope. Then comes something I feel guilty even witnessing. Some feelings really got hurt right here. Out, in, out. My guy feels like he's had 14 shots of tequila. He did the baseball spin around thing and now he's playing musical chairs. He clearly doesn't know what's going on. What the hell's going on out here? Then at the end comes one of the most underrated parts of this play. Barry, as I said earlier, drives it home. He drives his shoulder down. He gets touched initially at the 5-yard line, drags that guy all the way through as though he's a recreational player. This is an NFL football player and Barry's just making him look like nothing. You gotta love a guy that smells the end zone and then devours it. That is a remarkable run by Barry Sanders, but not as remarkable as this one. My number 1, that darn play against the Dallas Cowboys. And in a 38-6 playoff win. That's right, I said both playoff and win. So that's why I ranked this one as high as it possibly can be, the number 1 slot. Sure, it was late in the game when Detroit already had a 31-6 lead and things were being pretty much wrapped up. Sure, it was when the Dallas Cowboys were basically giving up. Sure, it was when they threw in the towel. Sure, it was during mop-up duty, with the starter still in. At the end of the day, it was against America's team, so it makes it that much sweeter, especially when you consider that they absolutely cheated us in the playoffs years back, not too long ago. On top of all that, the run was just absolutely amazing, so let's dive into it. It's an off-tackle run to the right, and you see Barry following that path until he once again spots a hole and hits it right away. You know, I've been thinking, why was Barry Sanders so great at finding the hole when it was there? It's probably because it was such a rare thing that it's like, whoa, it's obvious and clear as day whenever it actually does come. But I digress. He then heads into the hole and hits a crowd of traffic. Now for most running backs, this play would be over, but not for our boy Barry. Our boy Barry ricochets off the tackle and his momentum is supposed to take him inside, but he's like, nah, bump that, I'm cutting in. And when he does, Mr. Editor, can you pause it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 Dallas Cowboys fooled. I ain't never seen Emmitt do that against a good team. Another reason why I'm putting this at number 1, this is not like the Chicago Bears run where the team just kind of gave up on the play assuming that somebody else was going to make the tackle. On this play, the entire Dallas Cowboys team is active trying to get Barry down. Also, this entire Dallas Cowboys defense was better than that Chicago Bears defense. So there's 7 guys absolutely down and out of the play, and here's a guy that didn't want to be part of this crime at all. He was trying to get out of the way. Number 75 is like, what just happened? And the funny thing about this play is number 75 is always going to be the guy that's going to be remembered, but it's number 51 that Barry was really after, as you can see here. He jukes him out, and he's gone, off to the races. Ain't nobody catching him. There our boy is, trotting to the end zone, mouthpiece is out, so are the Cowboys out of the playoffs. That used to be a rarity, now it happens all the time. That was your number 1 play, guys. Time for some bonus action. Come on now, you didn't think I was going to actually, as a Lions fan and a Barry Sanders fan, forget about the time that he hit that 2,000-yard mark? This is a coveted thing. 2,000 yards is a huge deal. Not many running backs have ever done it, especially at that time when Barry was running. He, of course, gets it. He's congratulated by his team, and you can just see in his demeanor as humble of a star as there ever was. And then on the very next play, boom, this is what Barry does. Gets the ball, takes it where it needs to go until he finally does cut. He hits the edges, runs, and ends up with a 53-yard gain against the New York Jets. That was the longest they had given up the entire season, and this was the last game of the regular season. This game you easily remember as a Lions fan. Of course, Barry hit the 2,000-yard mark, but if you remember, this was also a game where the Jets and the Lions both had to win in order to make the playoffs in the AFC or NFC respectively. The loser would not make the playoffs in their conference. So Barry and his squad needed this win. They got this win 13-10 in the Silver Dome. May that place rest in peace. It was the most attended Lions game all season that year. They had 77,624 people on board to witness it. And to think just a couple weeks later, the Wolverines fans would also witness a national championship. What a great year it was to be a Detroit Lion and a Michigan Wolverine. Barry on the day, 184 yards on 23 carries, 8 yards per carry. Astonishing to say the least. Alright, so there you have it. The top 10 best Barry Sanders runs as a Detroit Lion. The only team he ever played for. Hey, if you enjoyed that and you enjoyed the greatness that was Barry Sanders, we'd appreciate it unbelievably if you subscribe right here to Intermittent Sports. This is the channel that covers the Detroit Lions, the Michigan Wolverines, Detroit Tigers, and Detroit Pistons. It's all Detroit action, all Michigan action, all the time. Also, like I said, hit that like button so you can prove that Barry Sanders was better than Emmitt Smith, because he was. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I also hope to see you around soon here on Intermittent Sports. Go Lions, go Barry. And God bless.